wish you weren't a fairy, Wiggy?
Nope. I love being a fairy. Whee!
We'd be better fairies, though, wouldn't we, if you hadn't used up all our magic, Wiggy?
Me? I didn't use up all our magic.
You wouldn't stop turning everything hairy, remember?
Well, everything looked so nice, hairy.
Yes, but now we can't do any magic at all.
Hey, I remember a fairy who couldn't do magic spells. Don't you, Quiff?
Oh, yeah!
This is amazing! Our story starts at Nana Ha Ha's Arty den.
Minnie was spending the day with Nana Ha Ha.
And we were hiding in Nana's window box.
Nana and Minnie were going to make something. Well, you know what Nana's like. She's always making things.
Nana's a hairy land artist. Nana can draw like a dream.
She can spray, she can glue.
She can do collage too.
And sometimes she paints with ice cream.
Yes, ice cream.
Nana's always laughing.
But if she goes too far, she lifts off her toes and up she goes. Yes, up goes Nana.
Up goes Nana. Up goes Nana. Ha ha.
Nana had got a basket ready for a picnic.
They were going to go to the Forest of Frizz to gather foresty stuff to make something surprising.
Yes, because today was definitely the day for an Arty surprise.
So into the basket went the picnic. Hairy nanas, hairy berry sandwiches, hairy apples.
Ooh, I love a hairy apple, Quiff. Love, love, love.
And Nana had made one of these.
A hairy pear pie. I love hairy pear pie even more than hairy apples.
And Minnie loved hairy pear pie too.
But up on the hill at Chateau Shampoo, someone was resting. Can you guess who?
Boris, boo-hoo, what's he gonna do?
He heard Minnie laughing down in the valley and grabbed his hairy stary.
And he saw this.
The hairy pear pie going into the picnic basket.
Ooh, how Boris wanted that pie.
He was too lazy to go and ask for some, and too proud. But he had an idea.
Maybe he could send Boise to get him some pie.
He rang the Boise bell.
And Boise came running.
Boris told Boise to go and see if he could get Nana and Minnie to give them some pie.
Boise was very keen to go because it would mean seeing Minnie.
Boris was very pleased with himself.
So Boise set off to Nana's Arty den in search of pie.
But when he got there, Nana and Minnie had gone.
Boise started to call for Nana.
Blah, blah.
Boris realised that Minnie and Nana weren't there. He thought they must have gone somewhere with the pie.
And of course, he was right. They'd gone to the Forest of Frizz and they'd started gathering hairy leaves and furry fir cones and sticks and all kinds of foresty stuff to make their Arty surprise.
We followed them and were watching from a frizzy tree.
Suddenly, we heard...
It was Boise. So Nana and Minnie both googama blah blah'd back.
Boise heard them and he decided to follow the googama blah blah.
Boris heard all the googama blah blahing and was very pleased. Clever Boise. He thought clever like his dad.
Back in the Forest of Frizz, Minnie and Nana were still calling.
And sure enough, Boise found them.
Boris was in a hurry to get the pie.
But Boise had forgotten all about the pie. Minnie was showing him all the foresty stuff they'd collected for their Arty surprise.
Boris realised Boise had forgotten about the pie, so he'd have to get it himself.
He needed a plan.
needs a plan, a plan. He needs a plan as quick as he can. He needs to plan a big surprise.
He needs to plan his next disguise.
What'll it be?
What'll it be?
What'll it be? The fairy of the forest!
He was sure Nana Ha Ha would want to invite the fairy of the forest to have pie. So off he went.
Boo! Nana, Minnie and Boise had all collected so much foresty stuff that they needed somewhere to put it.
So they put it in the picnic basket and were putting the picnic in the tree, where it would be safe.
Hide, Wiggy, they'll see us. Just look at that.
Just then, Boris arrived. Minnie, Boise and Nana couldn't believe their eyes.
A fairy!
He's being a fairy! How dare he be a fairy?
The fairy wanted to open the picnic basket because, of course, that's where she thought the pie was.
But Nana had other ideas. She wanted the fairy to do a fairy dance.
Go, 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 ifro!
Pretty little fairy of the forest, come and dance with me.
Come and dance with me. Pretty little fairy of the forest, come and show me how a fairy should be. Pointy, point your toesies.
Standing in a row, please.
Pointy, point.
And pointy, point and
Spinny, spin, spin. Pretty little fairy of the forest.
Whoever would have thought you'd be so long and so thin? Pretty little fairy of the forest, come and dance with me. Come and dance with me. Pretty little fairy of the forest, come and show me how a fairy should be. Come and show me how a fairy should be. Boris was very tired after all that fairy dancing.
But not too tired to try to reach for the picnic basket.
Because he thought the pie was in it.
Nana grabbed the basket. The basket wasn't important.
What was important was to see the fairy do some magic.
Oh yeah, this I must see.
Come on, Boris, do some magic for us, eh?
Shh.
So the fairy of the forest said that she would make herself disappear.
She told them to turn round.
Then she told them to put their hands over their eyes.
Then she told them to sing blah 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 blah
blah blah.
And while they did that, Boris did this.
He started to tippy-toe off with the picnic basket, but he tripped and did this.
I can do better disappearing magic than that.
No, you can't, Wiggy. Remember?
Oh, nips.
Boris had lost his crown and his wings and his wand, but he picked up the basket and ran.
They all saw that the fairy of the forest had disappeared.
But she'd left behind her crown, her wings and her wand.
Nana said that the fairy had disappeared the picnic basket too.
Never mind, there was loads more foresty stuff to collect.
Nana thought it was a shame the fairy didn't stay for some pie.
Nana, Minnie and Boise got to work on their Arty surprise, and Boris arrived home.
He was very excited about the pie.
He opened the basket and there was no pie.
The basket was full of foresty stuff.
Boo!
Later, back at the Ha Ha Hairies' house, Nana, Minnie and Boise showed their arty surprise to Ma and Pa.
The fairy of the forest made out of foresty stuff.
With Boris's crown and wings and wand. Well, they all went to the Forest of Frizz to make an arty surprise, but they didn't expect to find a fairy.
Ha! Some fairy didn't even have any magic.
No. But then neither do we.
No, but we used to.
Oh, yes. We used to be great at magic. Remember the time I magicked us to the seaside?
Yes, and then we magicked up a sandcastle.
And then a magic ice cream.
Oh,